Hi guys, today I'm going to show you 5 Clifford Brown practice jazz patterns that will completely transform your jazz solos. Stay until the end because I'll be showing you 2 choruses of Mac the Knife using only these patterns. Okay, let's dive in. So there is one main element that I see lots and lots of teachers on YouTube omitting from their videos, and that is developing jazz vocabulary in manageable chunks, which is exactly what we're going to look today. Check out this solo, 2 choruses on Mac the Knife, and everything you hear and see will be from the 5 patterns that I've created for you to practice, all inspired by Clifford Brown. Okay, so let's get on with the first pattern. Okay, I'm showing you, it's just a third pattern. It's going up in thirds. Let's have a listen. Okay, and I've heard lots of bebop players use this where they just approach these notes by a semitone, and then you get this. If you think of bebop, I think that is Dizzy Gillespie's bebop. Okay, so that is just one simple pattern. Of course, that is going to work on minor chords. This is the whole thing of getting away from the licks, because I could easily make this an E flat, okay, and then you do-dee, and then you've got that minor pattern. We could make it dominant 7th. We could make these B's a B flat, okay? So it's transferable. It's not just a static lick that you learn. That is the importance of learning the patterns and practice them over different chord types. Okay, on to the next one. So I've broken this down to make it much easier for you to look and see what's going on. Let's just look at B. Okay, and that is like a chord, and I believe, I didn't know, someone said to me, oh, I think this is called broken chords. I always called it the Fats lick, because I first saw and heard Fats Navarro using this. And so rather than just doing this, you take that C up the octave, and then what you've got, I mean, you can still play it like that, but when you take that first note up the octave, all of a sudden you've got that familiar bebop element. And when you use that with other elements like chromatic enclosures, like we're just going to get onto now, it works fantastic. And again, you can use that over dominant chords, minor chords, and major chords, depending on what your target notes are. So, of course, I'm going to put some links in the description to 2 Clifford videos I've recently done on targeting. I hope you'll find them very helpful. Okay, on with C. This is letter C, as you can see. We're looking at chromatic enclosures. Now, I've done a whole video on chromatic enclosures on the other channel as well. I'll put a link to that for you as well. But we are simply playing the root, the 3rd, the 5th, the root, the 5th, the 3rd, the tonic, okay, or the root, okay, and we're just chromatically enclosing them. And then if we start on the 3rd, of course this isn't jazz, but what this is doing is giving you that technical facility to enclose the 3rd, the 5th, the tonic, that type of thing. And of course, again, you could use this on a dominant. You could, which I'm going to show you in a minute actually, on the G7. And then descending. Okay, so there's 3 patterns we've got. We've got the do-da, ba-do-da, 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 and we've got ba-do-be-da, 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 and then we've got do-da-do-ba-do-da, yeah, chromatic enclosures. Next one, dee-do-be-da, blep-bu-dee-da, be-do-be-da. Okay, we've got that very familiar Clifford Brown where we are just be-do-be-da. You could do it on the beat, ba-do-da-da, ba-do-da-da, but ba-do-be-da. 1, 1. Now I've done it as a set, like diatonically above and a semitone below, but if you wanted to, you could just do the whole thing diatonically. So you just get rid of all these accidentals. And then of course we're doing it rather than 1 ba da 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 or 1 ba da da da, we've got 1 2 1 ba da dee da. So we're picking up onto beat 1. Great little bit of language, again used over any type of chord and mixed in with other elements, other little bits of vocabulary. It's going to help you sound super authentic. When you listen, or when I listen to players like Cannibal Adderley, Conti Candoli, any of them, Charlie Parker, they are always playing language. There's never any of this meaningless noodling, okay, where you just... People that listen to jazz, when they listen to you or me improvise and you start noodling, they know you're noodling. And more importantly, you know you're noodling. You don't want to be one of those noodlers. You want to be playing super authentic language. And this is just 5 patterns I've got from Clifford. You know, if you studied Charlie Parker's music, if you studied Frank Rosolino, if you've studied Jim Hall, whatever instrument you play, Stan Getz, Dizzy Gillespie, think of the patterns you can get from those guys, their musical thumbprints, okay? That is what's going to really, really help you. A lot of this as well, one of the main guys I like to use that's helped me enormously is Blue Mitchell. I mean, maybe I should do a video on Blue Mitchell. Okay, another one is just approaching. Do 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 da, do 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 da, do 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 da. Now, of course, if that was a D minor 7, you would be hitting the D, the F, the A. If that was a G7, you would be hitting the G, the B, the D. You're aiming for the chordal notes, okay? Okay, and then here we go on F. F is the chromatic enclosures, but I'm chromatically enclosing the D minor chord. Yeah, you could make it the D minor 7 if you want to add the C yourself. Okay, I'm not going to play it. I'll play the first one. Okay, and we go through those again, get to know it, because you're not targeting C chord anymore, you're targeting D minor. So it's a different thing. It's a totally different thing. Okay, and then down here we are targeting G. And if you want to, you can get that 7th in there too. Okay, and there's the rest of the G. And then we're back to the solo. Now, all of this is completely free. I'm putting this in my email newsletter. If you decide to join it, you can find the link in the description and just go there, and this will be in the first email I sent you. There's going to be a whole other bunch of emails, me going over some of the stuff like this in Buy Me a Coffee and how I've come to get to the point where for me, this is certainly the way forward. This has given me the greatest benefits, the greatest progress in my own playing. That's why I'm sharing it, because I don't see that many other people. In fact, I don't see anyone else talking about it like this. And as the weeks go by, I'll be adding some more lead magnets, if you like. I'm going to be adding some more resources to the email automation, but if you're already on the list, I'll send them to you anyway. Okay guys, I hope that video's helped you. So let's just go over that again. You've got the 5 patterns to practice. Again, I've only done it in C, but you could easily practice that in any key that you want to. I strongly suggest you do. The biggest benefits I've made is when I've worked out something in a simple key and then you transpose it yourself. So from C, you transpose it into F, rather than having everything written out. Try to do it by ear. Maybe it's okay to have the odd thing written out, or even better to do the whole thing by ear. Listen to the patterns of your favorite player, or the small little parts of vocabulary that they're using. Okay, so one of the main things I say, and this is how I got these patterns, is say listen to your favorite player, one of your favorite players. You can transcribe the whole solo, but I think what's worked best for me is when I listen to a solo and there's always one part in that solo I think, wow, that is amazing. What are they doing there? And I work that out and I think, oh, they've done that on that chord. And then I start working that into my own playing, practicing in different keys, which is what Clark Terry said, which is that imitate, assimilate, innovate, where you learn it in that key, learn it in the other keys, and then start putting it like this with other different types of vocabulary elements to make your own solos. Okay guys, so remember to subscribe to the channel. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a comment below if you did, or even if you didn't. Okay, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.